So She's the He is Siobhan McCarthy's coming-of-age film that makes a crucial revision to a tired, sexist, and transphobic comedy trope. Too many times has there been a gender-based comedy where men pretend to be women for some personal gain. The fake boobs and high voices are employed for a deception that is sometimes amusing, as in Some Like It Hot, and sometimes failing to put any thought beyond the juvenile jabs, like in movies like Sorority Boys. But She's the He retools that story to ask the question, what if the deceptive crossdressers turned out to really be transgender? It's compelling enough to spawn another question. Why didn't anybody make this movie before? The film follows high school losers Ethan and Alex who want to make themselves known as graduation looms. Specifically, they want to dispel rumors that their friendship and social status are viewed as gay. After their attempts to woo girls fails, they take note of how inclusive their high school is of gay and trans teenagers. This inspires Alex to plan for the two to declare themselves girls in an effort to get closer to them. Now, you can see how easily this framing could be led astray, where this premise could easily be warped into a conservative promoted satire on the flimsy nature of recognizing transgender teens. The good news is that the film doesn't fall back on either the poor gags from this scenario or the grotesque messaging placed on keeping gender a rigid binary. There's a fearlessness when approaching this material that doesn't reduce it to a cartoonish level, despite being a comedy that has bite and wit. The announcement that Ethan and Alex are trans is met with open arms by Sasha, an assertive girl who is willing to help with makeup, but also be blunt about the hardships that women face. This development is also met with an embarrassing attempt at aggressive allyship by their teacher, who is too eager to announce pronoun changes and celebrate gender discovery. Everything seems like it's right on track to be a thoughtless dose of cross-dressing comedy built to trip over its own ill-fitting attire into holes of sexism, homophobia, and transphobia. But there's thankfully plenty of heart to go along with the hilarity in a film that wants to have its gross cake and eat it too. The honesty between Ethan and Alex is genuine from the start. They both worry about their social status to the point that even they realize their problems are not so simple that banging the hottest girl in school will solve all their issues. Amid trying on dresses and makeup, Ethan begins to see a part of herself that she starts to like. The comfort takes hold to such a degree that she can't keep playing this game, confessing to Alex that she is, well, a she. But as the earnest Sasha warned them, this is not an easy road. While Ethan might be accepted by the other girls, she won't find that same acceptance from her mother, who is thankfully portrayed less like a transphobic villain and more like an uncertain mom, fearful of the world that her child is entering. And while she eventually accepts her daughter, there is an understandable concern as a single mother who knows how hard it is for a kid like Ethan, who doesn't exactly have the best social standing to make such a change in her life. And while Alex might not commit to the trans deception, going so far as to break the contract when sex is within his grasp, he does recognize the humility of his behavior. His confession deeply damages his friendship with Ethan, and there's a deep shame that he harbors for what he has done. But there's no time to sulk, as his actions have created a hideous byproduct, as sexist jocks intend to use the same tactic to infiltrate the girls' locker room. So Alex needs to rally the queer forces of the high school to bite back against the abuse of gender for insidious means. All of it leads to one of the most absurd and raunchy climaxes where the ultimate weapon is bloodied tampons. And there are a lot of them, refusing to skimp on the gross-out comedy in a manner that is as refreshing as retooling the tired gender flip formula. Now, it would be easy to praise the picture on those merits alone, but the comedy is surprisingly clever for how it tackles the stereotypes of high school, playing them up when amusing and revising them where needed. I love how the lax gym teacher poses the rule in dodgeball that gays are off limits from bombardment, unless they're sports gay. The way Alex geeks out over the girl group's non-binary stage tech is charming and paints a lovely picture of how you don't need to choose a side in the bathroom to find a genuine connection with somebody. The iconography of doodling profanity and nudity is also a nice touch for illustrating the lingering thoughts of high school, riding that wonderful line between a heartfelt tale of coming out as trans and the cartoonish fun that can be had in a high school setting. She's the He succeeds in being the transgender revisionism that gender-swapped comedies have been lacking for the longest time. Beyond its strong messaging, it's also just a fun film that is unafraid to tread into territory that is blunt and vulgar. That potent mixture of being honest about the reality of being trans and the amusement in waging a war on the jocks makes for a film that feels like it was plucked from the 1980s, but then stripped of all its dated qualities. I know it's become a common criticism that if you tried to adapt teen comedies from the 1980s to the modern day, they would be drained of all humor. But this movie is proof that you can still have all the raunchy antics, the quirky characters, and the slapstick silliness without being a dated mess of poorly aged comedy. So here's hoping more laugh-out-loud comedies like this are coming down the pike, because today's teenagers could use movies as amusing and admirable as this one. So yeah, I was really impressed with She's the He. I mean, the concept alone was great, but the fact that it could still be a raunchy teen comedy with a lot of heart was just wonderful. I fell in love with this movie.